I got a question from Eric about hypnagogia, and he asks, can hypnagogia be made more clear? Can it be strengthened? He asks if it can be used to move from the hypnagogia into an out-of-body experience. He mentions that sometimes it's stronger on the right side, and he also says that when he opens his eyes, underneath the eye mask, he can still see the hypnagogia. Eric, I'm calling you here. I hope that's okay. I don't know your gender. Just presuming from the name. So there's a few points in here, so I wanted to make a video to address them all. So the first thing is that hypnagogia appears as the mind is starting to fall asleep, and although this is a massive oversimplification, we do not just have a left brain and a right brain working independently, but they do tend to have a dominant side about them. So when we're going from awake-induced, when we're trying to have awake-induced experience, so we're actually trying to remain conscious while we fall asleep, what actually happens is that the more logical side of our brain starts to go offline. And my guess is that this might actually make the visual side more dominant on the right side. I don't know for a fact that that's correct, but it's just a guess that it could be a little bit more. That might be why you're seeing it more on the right side. As for having the eyes open, there is absolutely no reason why you can't actually dream with your eyes open. If the room is dark enough, you don't need to have your eyes closed. And in fact, the imagery and the visuals and the geometric shapes and all these things can be seen just as well from a completely wake-induced state. If you go into a darkness retreat, you would start seeing all this stuff anyway in that space without your eyes being closed. I've talked in some other videos about the morph. The morph is a term that Stuart Wilde coined. It's something that can be seen everywhere when you tune into it. It's like a mist, like a fog almost, but not foggy. It's like noise, visual noise, and when you stare into it, you start to see swirls and patterns, and if you stare into it for longer, you'll start to see a film. You can use this in different ways. You can use it to like remote view, and you can use it to receive information, and you can influence it. And from my experience, it's the same with hypnagogia. So the thing about hypnagogia is you get flashing images. Often it's like a face, maybe like an outline. And it's true, if you are able to stick with it, you can start to morph it. You can change it. You do have agency over those images. The trick is not to stare at it. And the same with the morph. You don't really stare with your eyes. You just sort of put your awareness onto it. If you stare too hard, you'll strain your eyes and you're using the wrong thing, because you're not really seeing with your eyes anyway. So you put your awareness onto it. And one thing you can do to help you from stop falling asleep is just to be taking notes of kind of what you're seeing. Like, reinforce what you're seeing in your mind, if you like. But do this, like, again, quite lightly, not with too much effort, because you don't want to be waking up the left brain. So the trick then would be to, if you can get into hypnagogia easily, before you do, make a plan about how you're going to influence it. Perhaps you could, turn this face into somebody that you know, and see how you can play with it. See if you can move it. Enjoy interacting with it, because this interaction will keep it more vivid and more alive. And if you can stick with it fully, that starts to emerge into a dream, and you can actually create the dream from the ground up. It's quite a tricky thing to do, and very likely you will lose it or you will fall asleep. But the thing is to not let that deter you. If you fall asleep, if you then wake up and go and try that again, your chances of having a better result increase every single time you do that. even if you find that you have like a very brief out-of-body experience, and then you come back again, you can do it again. You can just go again, and your chances of having an even better one are massively increased. So the question is then, how can you lead it? How can this be led to an OBE? Well, once you see this kind of imagery appearing, then you know that your brain is in a particular state. And that's great. Again, you don't need to overthink it, but just keep watching, keep noticing. A very useful technique is the cycling technique, where you observe what you see, you notice what you listen, you feel what you feel, and you keep cycling this like every 2 seconds, not spending too much time on any of it. And then you might find that you start getting vibrations, you start noticing vibrations. Then it really helps if you can move energy. So how do you move energy? Well, some people say do it with visualizations. I don't use that technique. For me, it doesn't feel like there's any visualizing going on when I move energy, but I am moving awareness around. And so when I start to feel that kind of tingling, I will move that awareness up and down my body, and that seems to move the vibrations with it, and from there I can strengthen it, and then I can perceive myself coming out. Again, some people like to sort of visualize this, and that helps and that works. For me, again, I don't really see it as a visualization. It's more just a will and an intent to move out. Another thing you can do is just move into a lucid dream. So, you know, this is a really nice state to be in. It's kind of like a gateway, and you've got lots of options. Or you can remote view just by looking into it, setting your intent on what it is that you want to see or what it is that you want to view. And you may find that it just simply clears into a vision, and it's like you're peering into a specific view. So yeah, I've rushed through it a little bit because I don't want to make the longest video ever about it, but let me know if that helps, and if you've got more questions based on what I've said, I can go into it deeper. All right, thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.